In this video, we're getting into writing and recording and releasing an album per month for the last 2 years. Yes, we have reached the 2-year marker of writing and recording and releasing albums monthly. Some thoughts on doing this for the last 2 years. I feel like I can keep up the pace. The funny thing is that I have a file with ideas to get me to pretty much July or August, maybe even September of 2029, and I have the album names, I have the song names, I have some of the themes of those songs. Lyrics are not yet written for them, and obviously the music isn't either, but I literally have ideas if I'm releasing monthly up until 2029 or well into 2029. So the ideas keep coming out. They're coming out a lot quicker, and there is an inexhaustible, like, my creative state is now constant. Generally, I'll write an album, and usually maybe a week later, I'll give it a week, and then the following week I'll start on the next thing. Sometimes I finish 2 albums per month. Sometimes it's only 1, depending on how things line up. But obviously, if you've been following this channel, you would know that I don't really believe in writer's block. I think it's something that is not real. Just from the simple fact that writing, recording, and releasing an album per month for the last 2 years, and I still have ideas and ideas and ideas. And I'm not going to get into a rant here, and I'm not going to get into some of the advice that I've given in the past regarding inspiration and how to keep that creative flow state going. But I do have tons of ideas, obviously. The writing process has become very efficient. The last thing I did took me 2 weeks, but I was kind of giving it a little bit more time. The writing process is probably max about 2 weeks. Let's say now I've done things in shorter time span. I've written an album in a day, or like 12 hours or something, or yeah, somewhere around there. Granted, it was an instrumental album. That obviously it makes sense that something like that would take a shorter time period than something like a 12-song album with lyrics and guitars and everything else. Usually it's between 4 or 5 to 14 days to write an album now. I don't think there's anything I would change. I want to keep going because I have all these ideas and I feel like I can keep going, and I don't know if there's an end to this other than me eventually at some point I'll pass away or die at some point, and that'll be the end of this whole creative journey. But at least that's the way I feel right now. It might change in the future. I might want to do things a little bit more slowly, but currently no. And there is consideration of actually picking up the pace a little bit, but it's tough to maintain that kind of pace if it's more than 1 album per month. Like if it's 2 albums a month, it gets very tough because you're literally writing something, promoting it for maybe a week, and then you're moving on to the next thing, and it's quite the cycle. And I'm not sure I want to get I'm not sure I want to pick up the pace like that, because I feel like certain other things will be missed, and I don't want to miss those things. So obviously I feel, because I've been in the habit of doing this so frequently now, literally every month, I think it's helped me suss out inspiration a lot quicker. And I know I've mentioned this before in other videos about the inspiration and finding inspiration, and and this is another reason why I don't believe in writer's block, because there is a universe and universes within universes of inspiration out in the universe. There's literally anything you can imagine. Anything. There's worlds up here. There's a vast universe out in. It's just a vast universe, and there's so many things to be inspired by, and I think there really is no excuse for. I don't think writer's block is a real thing. Like, there have been times where I've definitely, things are a bit slow in the inspiration department, but I found after doing this 2-year releasing albums monthly, things come out, and doing it consistently, and it just gets easier and easier and easier. And yeah, I just don't. Writer's block is not real. It is absolutely not real. Even if you feel blocked, it's like, just sit down and do something. Sit down and write. Sit down and record something. And even if it sounds like shit, do not throw it away. You can set it aside and come back to it later. And this is something that certain writers, like actual writers of authors of books and stuff. Some writers, and I can't remember where the quote is from, but you don't write by sitting there trying to think of ideas. You write by actually writing, and whatever comes out, and you can set it aside if you've taken some time during your day to write something or record something. Like, you set yourself an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours, whatever it is, or 8 or 12 or whatever it is. Take a day and just do something, and you don't have to like it, but you can set it aside after your session and come back to it another time and refine it and turn it into something. And yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling. Some of you are probably wondering why I'm doing this monthly album release challenge. Years and years and years and years and years ago, I set myself a goal that I wanted to reach 40 albums in my catalog before I die. I will reach that sometime early 2026, in the first couple of months in 2026. And obviously it can't end there, because, well, what else am I going to do now? Because now I've reached 40, so I have another secondary number in mind. And there might be some other things that come along with that as well. I won't get into that right now, but I will literally have reached one of my lifetime goals. It'll be really fucking good to reach that. When I officially reach that number, I will maybe take some time to celebrate and pause and reflect in a little bit and look at everything that I've done, and just celebrate a little bit, and then I can get to work on the next number. My thinking is also around inspiration. It's just like, if you have ideas, like, just fucking go with them. Like, there's no bad idea. Like, if there's no bad idea, if you wanna sing about coffee or the lemon you ate the other day or some shit like that, go with it. If that's your voice, and if that's your what's inspiring you. Like, I've definitely benefited from this challenge. It's made me think about what's necessary for songs, how I can efficiently communicate a song, or communicate a song in the most efficient manner, what makes sense for the songs, how I want to communicate the ideas and the things I'm feeling in the songs. How do I best communicate this music and these feelings and these emotions? Granted, I'm not really a minimalist necessarily, but my tracks are they're not super dense with, all these details and shit. Like, not that those details aren't there, it's just, if it doesn't feel like it needs extra layers or extra details, then I don't put them in there. It's like whatever the song calls for. Sometimes those details are nice to have, but I also think if you can communicate something efficiently in a better way, it's better to do that. I honestly can't believe I've reached this point. Definitely, I'm glad I decided to do this. Obviously, like I stated earlier, gonna keep up with this pace, and I might pick it up. We'll see. What have I learned from this? That it's possible to write an album in less than. Well, I mean, if you want an example of someone writing an album in short form, there's a couple of different artists that have done it. They probably, I don't know if they'll ever go to the extent that I've done, but I don't know if you're familiar with the YouTuber Andrew Huang. Him and his musical partner, I think they have their project is called The 1st of October or something like that. They just put out a video that they wrote an entire album's worth of songs in 12 hours while they were in a Guitar Center Canada store. I mean, 12 hours, that's pretty fucking good, you know? I think the songs were about 2 minutes apiece, if I remember correctly. I mean, that's an example of how quickly you can write things. I have written an instrumental album in about 8 or 12 hours. Lyrically, I haven't done that yet, but a song with lyrics and guitars and stuff, I have not done that yet. I wouldn't mind trying that. We'll see if I end up ever doing something like that. But it would be interesting to try. Another artist that I don't know if you know this artist, but if you're familiar with the book Assimilate: A Critical History of Industrial Music, S. Alexander Reid, it was a couple of years ago, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, that he basically wrote an album in 24 hours. That's another example. So that's something else I haven't done. We'll see. I might try something like that. I might try to do a full album with lyrics and guitars and everything else, drums and all of that, in a 12-hour stint. We'll see. I think the quickest I've put together an album is, other than the instrumental album, The Phases of the Moon, I think I've done an album in 2 or 3 days. I will say though that I found if I get skeletons to the songs first, I usually finish the songs a lot quicker. So if I have a dedicated session where I get basic structures of the songs, and then, you know, once I've got structure of one song, go and move on to the next song and get those basic structures in there, those basic skeletons, I found that the writing process is a lot quicker. These days, sometimes I'll do skeletons beforehand, sometimes I won't, but just depends on how I'm feeling. Usually if I'm here in the studio, I'm generally not writing skeletons. I'm usually working on a song at a time. But if I'm having a coffee and create session with friends or whatever it is, where we're sitting in a pub or a coffee shop having a creative session where we work on our own little creative projects, usually because I'm not here and I don't have all my gear with me, I'm usually writing skeletons in those coffee and create sessions. Is there anything that I would stop doing? I don't think there's anything I would stop doing in regards to writing and recording more frequently. I think I've got it into a process that works, and granted sometimes the process isn't always the same, but you know, there's certain similarities between album processes and song processes and stuff like that. Is there anything I would start doing? It would be fun to pick up the pace, but I've been thinking about that for the last several months now, and I'm just like, that's a fucking tough pace to keep up. I'll continue doing what I'm currently doing. There are some things I would change, like obviously because you're writing and recording so often, sometimes things kind of get lost in the process of promoting, and the promotional aspects, obviously because you're writing an album per month, it gets tough to promote to certain blogs and online magazines and stuff like that. It's just tougher to do that because you're not spending as much time with each album. I'm trying to do more of that, but it is tough. It's definitely tough to, not only are you doing social promotions or promotions on your social media, you're doing things, you're reaching out to magazines and blogs and stuff like that. And out of all honesty, I've kind of I've been focusing more on the social media side of things rather than blogs and stuff. But we'll see. Maybe I think if I was to change one thing this next year, in the new year, I do intend on reaching out to more blogs and magazines and all that kind of stuff, and doing more of that promotional side of things. I think that's the other thing too, is that you're writing and recording something every month, and I don't necessarily think you're oversaturating people with stuff. I think there's many musicians and artists, or noisicians if you want to call them that have released albums every month since the beginning of their career. As an example, Merzbow, I think currently he's sitting at 500 releases or 500 albums. Granted, there's probably some collaborations and stuff like that in there, but he's released that many albums, and I think it's nice having that breadth of work where you have a vast catalog to kind of go through and stuff, and you can kind of see the evolutions of each release. But the thing is that with noisicians, I think it's easier to get away with promoting that kind of thing because it's noise music or noise. Well, it's not an entirely different scene that I'm promoting my music in, but it is a different scene, and there is something in that noise scene that kind of welcomes that kind of prolific output. In the goth industrial scene, it's not as common for musicians and artists to be prolific like that. It's a matter of fact, I don't know if there's any artist in the scene that has released, like I if I'm not mistaken, I actually, from what I've seen, I probably have one of the highest outputs in the goth industrial scene. However, I could be mistaken on that, but if I am mistaken, let me know in the comments of this video, because I don't think there's any other musician in the goth industrial scene that has released as much music as I have, or at least as many albums. But I could be mistaken. If I'm wrong, let me know. And if I'm right, then there you go. But it is a different noise scene versus like the goth industrial scene. It's very different. It's not, and maybe it's just my perception of it. Well, honestly, I don't know. Maybe I'm a testament to that. We're gonna find out. Because I do have almost 40 studio albums on my Bandcamp currently. And granted, I've kind of fallen off the whole blog and magazine promotional aspect of it. As I stated, this coming year, 2026, I intend on reaching out to more blogs and magazines and such like that, and getting the word out about my stuff. And once again, I am a little concerned about oversaturating, but I'm also kind of like, why can't we do these things? Like why can't we be prolific? Why can't we, put as much stuff out that we can in our limited time span on the earth? You will either see this at the end of December or sometime at the beginning of 2026. I am going to take some time to celebrate. I will be working on something new very soon. I'm hoping to finish it before the end of November. We've got a couple of weeks here, I think, or a little less than a couple of weeks. I'm hoping to finish it before the end of November. I think I can do it, and if I do that, then I'm thinking I might take December to just enjoy the holidays, to celebrate a little bit, obviously be with family and friends, and yeah, celebrate the whole doing this for 2 years. I think that's what this next little while looks like. And I will mention this, I literally have almost everything for next year in the tank. I'm sure some of you are surprised by that, or not. Maybe you're not surprised that I would have a year's worth of music in the tank, an album per month for 2026 already in the tank, except for one thing. Like I said, I'm hoping to finish it at the end of this month, and then I'll have the entire year next year in the tank. I think that's it for this video. I kind of rambled on a bit there, but our review of the last couple of years of writing, recording, and releasing albums every month. We hope you enjoyed this little journey. If you have any questions or comments regarding this journey of writing and releasing albums every month for the last 2 years, hit me up in the comment section. Maybe you're looking to how to keep up your pace, and how to maybe you're not even trying to release every month. Maybe you're just trying to pick up the pace, or even just like have more output. Definitely hit me up in the comment section for those, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability, answer those questions to the best of my ability. If you feel this video has value, please share it. Obviously, if you enjoyed it, give it a like. And if you feel this channel has value, please hit that subscribe button to be notified when the next video comes out. So see you in the next video.